UFC 316 Dvalishvili vs O'Malley 2 took place on June 7th at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. The event brought in $6.5 million at the gate, as well as sponsorships, merchandise sales, and potential site fees that can range from the millions to tens of millions. Not to mention the UFC's broadcasting deal with ESPN, which pulls north of $300 million a year. But how big of a slice did the fighters take home? The New Jersey State Athletic Control Board does not disclose fighter pay information, so while Venom sponsorship and fight bonuses are released, the purses are based on disclosed earnings from previous events. And if you stick around until the end, I'll reveal how much the channel made from the last video. With that said, let's jump into the first fight.
Every fighter that's under contract, if you want to tell the media what you're paid, that's up to you.
In the featured prelim, despite an immediate leg kick knockdown by Bruno Silva, his flyweight opponent Joshua Van would go on to dominate the fight, scoring 3 knockdowns in 2 rounds. Silva did find success with his leg kicks, but not enough to affect Van's elite level boxing. With a minute left in the fight, a bloodied Silva would suffer a 4th knockdown off a right hand before shelling up against the cage as Van rained down blows. The referee stepped in to call the fight, handing Van the TKO victory. Silva took home around $45,000 to show and $6,000 in Venom sponsorship, also known as Fight Week incentive, for a total of $51,000. While Van made an estimated $47,000 to show and $47,000 for the win. He also took in $6,000 in sponsorship for $100,000 on the night. Vicente Luque and Kevin Holland kicked off the main card with an exciting welterweight bout. Less than a minute in, Luque went for a single leg and was tagged several times by heavy blows from Holland. After abandoning the takedown, Vicente fired back and the round opened up as both fighters landed big shots, including an elbow by Holland that left a massive lump over Luque's left ear. At the beginning of the second, Kevin caught Vicente's leg during an exchange, sending him to the canvas, and used the opportunity to lock in a Darce choke. Luque tried to fight it off, but was forced to tap, giving Kevin Holland the submission win. The veteran Luque earned a projected $170,000 to show, along with the maximum non-championship $21,000 in sponsorship pay, taking home an estimated $191,000. While Holland made a disclosed $250,000 2 fights ago at UFC 311, so I have him making that here as well, along with $250,000 for the win, $21,000 in sponsorship, and a $50,000 performance of the night bonus, for a total of $571,000. In the second fight, highly touted former Bellator champion Patchy took on number 10 Mario Bautista in a bantamweight bout. It was an overall underwhelming performance by Mix, who seemed unable or unwilling to implement his expert grappling. Bautista firmly outstruck his opponent and easily defended the lone takedown attempt of the fight. Patchy's urgency increased in the final frame, but it was too little and far too late to make a difference in the outcome. Bautista took all 3 rounds on 2 of the judges' scorecards and walked away with the unanimous decision victory. Shortly after joining the UFC, Mix alluded to the fact that he'd taken a pay cut by joining the promotion. We don't have a really good indicator of what that contract looks like, but I imagine it's similar to other champions from outside the UFC like Justin Gaethje and Reinier de Ridder, who both came in making $100,000. I'd optimistically put Patchy at $125,000 to show, along with the entry-level $4,000 in sponsorship, taking his total to $129,000. While Bautista made a disclosed $43,000 3 fights ago at UFC 292, but being on the second fight of a new contract, he likely earned closer to $66,000 for this fight, along with $66,000 for the win and $11,000 in Venom sponsorship, giving him a total of $143,000. In the third fight of the night, middleweight Joe Pyfer dropped former interim title challenger Kelvin Gastelum with a right hand, but stayed patient after he wasn't able to secure the finish. Towards the end of the round, Pyfer scored another knockdown, but Gastelum was again able to survive. The second and third rounds were much closer as Gastelum settled in and was able to land a few significant blows. But after 3 rounds, the judges' scorecards read a clear unanimous decision for Joe Pyfer. Gastelum, who's on his 24th fight with the promotion, pulled a projected purse of $155,000, as well as $21,000 in sponsorship pay, taking him to $176,000 on the night. Meanwhile, Pyfer, who revealed on the Ariel Helwani show that he missed out on a $25,000 purse due to an illness that postponed his bout with Gastelum at UFC Mexico City, would have made $25,000 to show for this fight, as well as $25,000 for the win and $6,000 in Venom sponsorship for a $56,000 paycheck. After a feeling out process, the women's bantamweight co-main event truly got underway when the challenger Kayla Harrison took down the champion Julianna Peña midway through the first round. Both women jockeyed for position as Harrison landed punches from the top. She would take the round and an extra point as Julianna connected with an illegal kick from her back. The second round played out in a similar way as Harrison again took the fight to the ground, and this time her ground and pound was much more effective. In the waning seconds, she cranked on a Kimura, forcing Peña to tap and delivering Kayla Harrison the submission win. Peña likely pulled between $500,000 and $1 million guaranteed, along with $42,000 in Venom sponsorship, and as the defending champ, potentially a portion of the pay-per-view revenue. Historically, female champions aren't always guaranteed pay-per-view points, but for the sake of this estimate, let's assume she did take home a cut. I should also note that according to recent reports, pay-per-view sales have been down overall in the past year or so. John Nash revealed on the Hey Not the Face podcast that many events have not even crossed ESPN's break-even threshold of 300,000 buys. I'd estimate that even with O'Malley's star power, total sales wouldn't be much higher than 400,000. Using the standard rate outlined in Eddie Alvarez's publicly released contract documents, Peña would earn an additional 200,000, totaling just a hair under $1 million. And as for the new women's bantamweight champion Kayla Harrison, her most recently disclosed purse was back in 2022 where she took on Kaylin Young at PFL 6. There she earned a flat $500,000, so I'd expect she pulled at least that much for this fight. Just like Peña, I'd put her somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million guaranteed, along with $32,000 in sponsorship and a $50,000 performance of the night bonus, coming out to $832,000. Only 7% of the people watching this video are subscribers, so if you're enjoying the content and want to keep up with all the latest videos, take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And finally, in the main event of the evening, Merab Dvalishvili defended his bantamweight strap against Sean O'Malley in dominant fashion. Early on, an improved O'Malley looked good on the feet, landing clean strikes and defending takedown attempts. But Dvalishvili's relentless pace didn't let up as he forced O'Malley to fight off the back foot. He got the takedown early in the third, and O'Malley was unable to get back up to his feet, forcing him to use increasingly risky methods of escape. As he exposed his back, Merab slipped his arm underneath O'Malley's neck, locking in a north-south choke, and with 20 seconds left in the round, forced him to tap, handing Merab Dvalishvili the submission win. Online estimates have O'Malley earning $2 to $3 million for his last appearance at UFC 306. However, on the Join the Lobby podcast, he himself suggested he'd be making much less for this fight and would miss out on pay-per-view points as he's no longer the defending champion. He still pulls a pretty penny, however, and I'd put him between $1.5 and $2 million guaranteed, along with the challenger's $32,000 in sponsorship pay, making his the biggest paycheck of the night at $1,782,000. And in his last fight at UFC 311, Dvalishvili was listed at a flat $500,000. However, disclosed purses have been proven to be inaccurate at the upper echelon of the pay scale. He likely made much more. In fact, I'd estimate somewhere in the range of $1 to $1.5 million guaranteed for his second title defense, along with the champion's rate of $42,000 in sponsorship and a $50,000 performance of the night bonus, as well as his cut of the pay-per-view revenue, which comes out to an additional $200,000. Totaled up, he walked away with $1,542,000 on the night. And last but not least, last week's video got around 3,200 views as of this posting, translating to just over $7. Corrections to the numbers I've shown will be listed in a pinned comment below. As always, thanks for watching. See you next week for UFC Fight Night, Usman vs. Buckley.